Hey there, welcome to, I'm not even going to say that. What the heck is cognitive diversity? Why do you care? Why do you want to achieve it? Why do you want to have it? Why do you want it to be in your repertoire and have it be part of your life, part of your business, part of the thing you're trying to create in this world? What the heck does it mean? It just means, and that's why I said, what the heck is cognitive diversity and why do I care? It is listening to or being exposed to different ways of thinking. I don't know about you, but I've been in business a long, long time. And I've been in businesses where people were yes people. And there's people like that all, we call them, I'm not going to say the names we call them because they're not very nice or politically correct. But we call them different names because they're always, like teacher's pet. Remember in school when there was always one kid that was, kissing up to the teacher? I still see that everywhere in the world right now in different ways and different forms. I mean, communities on the school platform, and there are communities where everybody's just kissing up to the founder of the community. Problem with that is it becomes an echo chamber, and we actually get dumber by only hearing our own opinions and thoughts and feelings and beliefs reflected back to us. We all love that as human beings, but it's not super effective when we're growing and scaling and building and supersizing our businesses. We need to see different perspectives. We need to understand different points of view in order to make better decisions, in order to make sure that we're creating things that people actually want and care about and are willing to pay us for, in order to grow as human beings, in order to see the different infinite possibilities that are around us all the time. We have to be able to understand and think differently and appreciate people that think differently than we do. Everybody's different, right? We all have our own reality. And if we remember that everybody's reality is by their own definition, based on their experiences, based on their thoughts, feelings, beliefs, core values, etc., it gives us a really amazing way to tap in to diversity in a way that we might not even have considered before. I have always been a proponent of diversity ever since my whole career because I knew it was important. I was a woman, often the only woman, in all male-oriented, male-dominated industries. And I'm sure I was there because they wanted a different perspective and a different point of view. And lucky for me, I was able to share my perspective and point of view about things and not care if somebody else agreed or didn't agree with me. Now, I worked in some organizations where everybody just told me what I wanted to hear. I hated that. And that would be one of the things that came up in feedback. Please think for yourself and don't just echo back to me what you hear me say unless we're having a conversation about an in-depth, detailed project and I need to make sure we're on the same page. Then great. Go ahead, agree with me. But still think for yourself. I think that one of the best pieces of advice I've given people over the last 5 years is, and longer than that, but for sure the last 5 years, think for yourself, right? Get other people's opinion, get diverse thoughts on a topic, and then form your own opinions. It's why if I'm interested in something, I never read less than 5 books on the topic. Why? Because I know each one of the different authors on the book are sharing their take on it, their opinions, their study and research, but it all gets colored by their experiences, thoughts, beliefs, and opinions. And so I don't want to just read one book and say, okay, I'm going to follow this one thing blindly, I'm done. We have to seek out other ways of thinking, other ways of doing, other ways of deciding things. I've learned this, and I've shared this story before, early on in my corporate career, that the skills and the things that we learn in one industry, the skills that we add to our life, make us incredibly valuable in other industries. It's why I've been involved in so many different industries throughout my lifetime and throughout my career. It's because I know that what one industry will pay for a certain skill is different than what another industry will pay for it. Another industry that values that skill more highly will pay a much higher rate than one that doesn't value that skill. And one of the best ways to build our career and actually become a better human being is to seek outside and look outside our own way of thinking and our own industry. So what are we going to do with this today? Excuse me very much. How often, be honest, do you look outside your circle of friends, your circle of influence, your work group for opinions and thoughts that are different than your own? And I'm not saying go watch the news. Please, for heaven's sake, don't go watch the news. But How often do you just have a conversation with someone that you meet? I think we meet people for a reason, because they're there to show us something, and just have a normal human conversation with them and realize that everybody has their own perspective. Everybody has got a vast amount of incredible experience that they can share with you if you're open enough to be curious and ask about it, and then listen to it and say, oh wow, that's a totally different point of view than I have on this topic. It's one of the reasons on my corporate jobs, I always got out of my office and hung out with the people that were actually building the business. To me, the frontline people that are doing the work in each of the different divisions and departments are the people doing the work, are the people that are actually building and growing the company. And so, although I'd hang out with my executive committee friends, I also made sure I interacted with everybody in the organization that I could. Why? Because if people trust you and know that you will do the right thing and are here to help them, they will tell you everything you want to know, whether it's your customers, the people that work in your organization, your vendors, your suppliers, people in regulatory organizations. Guess what? They're all there to make us better. One of the other best things I did in my corporate career was I would look to auditors and outside certification committees and experts as experts that could really help me to get my business to a different level, to help us to be better. Because they had access to huge organizations and how they did things on the inside that I would never have access to, because before the internet and back in the day, those things were private. Nobody shared that. It was all industrial secrets or company secrets and things. But I got access to those by building relationships with the right people. Now, do regulators have a slightly different point of view and perspective than we do as business owners? Yes, if you don't know that, they absolutely positively do. But by putting ourselves in their shoes and helping them to do their jobs better, just like helping our customers to solve their problems and live a better life, that is how we grow and scale and supersize. At least it's one of the secret ways to do it. So today, what are we going to do? I challenge you to have a conversation with someone that has a different way of thinking about something than you, and just be open-minded and have an awesome, friendly, curious conversation with them about it. And then share in the comments below one thing that you learned from that. Look at the diversity of thinking on your different teams in your organization, different departments, different teams. Different groups of people tend to, likes attract likes, right? Come together, and they form great bonds and great relationships. But if there is never a different way of thinking in those teams, I worked in an organization where the sales division absolutely positively dominated the business and everything, every decision, which made sure that we had a lot of sales and made a lot of money. But we didn't really make a lot of money because they would promise things that our company was not technologically capable of delivering. So they would promise customers things, and then when we couldn't deliver, guess who had to come and clean up the mess? Yes, I don't know how that ended up being part of my job, but as quality director, that became part of my job. And it wasn't very fun, because when you overpromise and underdeliver, there's no way around that. Needless to say, I did not stay with that organization very long, because the company philosophy, it didn't match my core values. And when something doesn't match our core values, it is not the right place for us. All right, that is our topic for today. Share in the comments below one thing you learned by practicing cognitive diversity today. Have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Oh, launching my Supersize Your Business School, SKOOL community this Friday. I am also offering a mastermind, closes June 15th. And what I'm looking for is a bunch of different people in different industries. I want to prove to you all the power of being hooked up with a group of people that are in different industries and have different backgrounds and different ways of thinking. And so we're going to do a mastermind like that. Applications closed June 15th. Not sure exactly when we'll start. We'll start right around that time frame. We won't wait long, but I have things for us to do before we even start. So if you're interested in something like that, if you're an experienced business owner, you've been around for probably 3 to 5 years, I like to put just to narrow the market down, I'd like to put a income cap on it, but I'm not going to. If you're interested, just fill out the application. I'll put a post up about it today. And if you want, you just put mastermind in the comments below, and I'll send you the link to the application. That would be way easier. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.